Hari Om, Hari Om. Thank you. I have a question because there were leftover questions last night in the basket, but now they disappeared. So somebody may have thought they were finished and they might have taken them. But so if you had put a question there, you may need to use the microphone for your question this evening. That's the big plan, unless somebody knows what happened. There's a couple here from today, but yeah. Okay.
So, fate versus free will. Many people believe that there is only fate. Those people are called fatalistic people, destiny-oriented people. There is destiny. There is no free will. Some people say there is only free will. There is nothing called destiny. You create your destiny. Now, what should be our stand? Our stand is a Shastra stand. What does Shastra say regarding both? Shastra says both are there. There is enough logic in everything. Because Shastra talks about Punya Papa. We have to resort to Shastra for Punya Papa. Nobody can prove. So, all the births etc. are possible based on Punya Papa. So like animals and even plants and they have they don't have free will. They have fate, right? They have just fate. They're experiencing their fate. But human being can create new Punya Papa. If a human being can create new Punya Papa through karma, there is a free will. So it is, Shastra accepts free will. Not only that, Shastra is addressed to the human being, any Shastra. Shruti, Smriti, Purananam, all, or a Mahabharata, Ityasa, etc. All the Granthas are addressed to the human being. For what? For what? No, Swamiji, they advise us, they teach us so that we can shape our life properly. If we can shape our life properly, is there a free will or not? There is a free will. So simple. That's okay, but does Bhagavan accept free will or not? Clear? 5th verse of 6th chapter. Uddharet atmana atmanam na atmanam avasadayet. Oh Arjuna, you are my best friend, but more than teaching, I cannot do anything to you, for you. If you want a welfare in your life, well, it is in your hand. Means what? Free will. So Shastra talks about punya papa, karma phala, fate. Shastra also accepts free will. Right? And therefore, we accept both. Okay, next question. What controls the future? Fate or free will? It is not asked, but I am saying. It will be asked afterwards. What controls the future? Our purushartha, this is the word we use also, purushartha, free will. So our purushartha will determine the future, or the fate will determine the future. What is the answer? I cannot answer. Because sometimes fate also has a varying degree. There is a prabala prarabdha, madhyama prarabdha, and manda prarabdha. Fate. That fate is nothing but our own karma phala of the past actions. Right? So depending upon the intensity of the action, the fate, the karma phala will be also accordingly. So the fate basically is of varying degree. And free will also has a varying degree. Sometimes in every moment, there is a fate coming up. And in every moment, there is a free will on the part of human being. Both are varying. Sometimes you do the action casually. Free will you are operating, but you do casually. Sometimes you do seriously. So free will also has a varying degree. And fate, the situation which you are confronting with in every moment on a daily basis, which we call fate, is also of varying degree. So our answer will be, the future will be a resultant of fate and free will. The future will be resultant of, in physics they used to say resultant. So I am using this word, resultant. Resultant means what? How much? 50%, 50%? No. I told you already, sometimes fate is very, very powerful. So if fate is powerful, then we cannot exercise free will. No. We can exercise free will. What you do, sometimes you know the situation is not going to change, Then at least you exercise your free will in terms of prayer. If you cannot change the external situation with your free will, you try to change internally. And therefore, free will role, it's there, but the contribution is less. Maybe fate is so powerful that it will overpower. And future will be determined by that. I can give you many examples. Sometimes disease, especially the cancer in the last stage. Still we exercise free will. The person will be administered the drugs, great chemotherapy, this, that, whatever we can do, we do free will. But the future will be determined by that fate, which is very powerful. So if fate is powerful, then free will is comparatively feeble. Sometimes fate is, instead of prabala, it is a madhyama. Madhyama prarabdha means what? You can manage. You can manage. You have got a certain disease, but definitely that disease, and you exercise your free will, started medicine, etc., everything, consulting the doctor, this, that, all free will. You have done. But the disease will go even after taking medicine, it will go after giving certain pain. It won't go immediately. But it goes. So we say you have managed. Right? You have managed. And sometimes it is very feeble prarabdha, which you can overcome by your free will. Like a feeble prarabdha is what? A headache. Giving pain. Prarabdha is basically sukha dukkha bhoga. Experiencing something pleasure or pain is a prarabdha. Bhoga does not mean enjoyment, experience. Enjoyment of pain cannot be there, right? So therefore, sukha dukkha bhoga. You must have heard of these words in the definition of sthula sharira and sukshma sharira. Sukha dukkha bhogayatanam, sukha dukkha bhoga sadhanam. Anyway, we'll be discussing that sukshma sharira. But point is, so experience of a pleasure and pain, that is prarabdha. Well, but if it is a madhyama, you can definitely manage. If it is a feeble prarabdha, giving you less pain in terms of a little backache or headache, well, you can just overcome by your strong free will. Taking medicine immediately, that headache goes away. So what controls future, we can't say. Then what will, if it is so, well, should I exercise my free will or not? You should. One wise statement is, always free will is a contributory factor to the future. That this statement cannot be contradicted. There is no contention in this. Right? Always, what you do now will have a contributory role in the future. Free will cannot control the future. Just fate cannot control the future. Because you are exercising your free will. And therefore, basically free will is a contributory factor to the future. That statement is okay. Free will and fate are not independent things. Free will and fate are not independent means this is just one. Free will is equal to fate. No, that is also not true. Free will and fate are non-separate things. Like two sides of a coin. Head and tail. If you want just head, tail will also come along with. They are not independent of each other. They are not just one. They are non-separate. I hope this is enough. Now what is Sukshma Sharira? That's another question. A definition is there in Tattvabodha. Apanchikata pancha mahabhutaihi kritam sukha dukkhadi bhoga sadhanam satkarma janyam, etc., etc. Sukshma Sharira is a link between Atma and Sthula Sharira. And because of Sukshma Sharira alone, this Sthula Sharira is alive. The Sthula Sharira is conscious. Right? If you do like this, immediately you take over the hand. So it's conscious. Atma does not lend consciousness to Sthula Sharira directly. If that would be the case, if if Atma lends consciousness to every sthula sharira, gross object, everything would be conscious, sentient. Everything would have a life, but it's not so. So this doesn't have a life and this has a life. The link is absent here. The link is here. That is Sukshma Sharira. Sukshma Sharira is always, I'm giving few features. Sukshma Sharira is always in keeping with anatomy, Sthula Sharira. Always in keeping with. Frog has a different type of a Sukshma Sharira and human being has a different type of a Sukshma Sharira. The Sukshma Sharira of a human being, suppose if it is there in the frog, frog would have all kinds of complexes, right? All complexes. And frog would be sad eternally. But that's not so. Frog would have a lot of thinking power. That's not so. If frog Sukshma Sharira is present in human being also would jump with the hind legs, etc. That doesn't happen. Therefore, every gross body, every subtle body is always in keeping with a particular type of a gross body. And Sukshma Sharira has many avayavas. It has organs of action. It has sense organs. It has a mind, Antakarana, which is again divided into 4. This 4 also I will tell you because there was a question in the afternoon. So, Antakaranam, depending upon the function of the Antakaranam, the mind, we give the functional name, 4 functional names to the same Antakaranam, inner organ. It is part of Sukshma Sharira. One function of the Antakaranam is to generate I thought, Ahankara. And then Manaha, Sankalpa Vikalpatmakam Manaha, creating doubts. Right? So when there is a doubt when you are in the room, should I go to Satsang or not? Let me go at 8 o'clock. I don't know what this Swami is going to speak about. I'm tired of this conscious being. No, let me go. Only one day and just to he may be there for half an hour. No, but it's quite cold, no? And should I get him in the morning or not? No, I should get him. Yeah, but this is quite cold and doctor told me to take enough rest. Yeah, but but for that matter, you can sleep little early. Yeah, but I can't sleep early. I don't get sleep early. This is also function of the mind. Sankalpa Vikalpatmakam. Creating doubts. Then out of this, you decide, yes, I will go. Buddhi. This is called Buddhi. Decision making faculty. Decisive capacity of a mind. Buddhi. Which is also an instrument of gaining knowledge, etc. A discriminatory capacity also. All this is Buddhi. So, and Chittam. You basically become, think over a particular subject matter. Try to understand it. Ponder over the things. So, that is called Chittam. Chintana Kartru Chittam. So, these are the 4 various functions of the one Antakarana. So, we say Ahankara, Manaha, Buddhi and Chittam. Sometimes they combine these 4 into 2. At that time, they will combine Ahankara and Buddhi and Manaha and Chittam together. So sometimes they say manaha buddhihi. Then we should understand ahankara has been included in the buddhi and chittam has been included in the manaha. So 17 organs of subtle body, 5 sense organs, 5 organs of action, 5 pancha pranas, that is physiological functions, prana, apana, vyana, udana, samana, circulation and respiration and ejection and digestion, etc., etc. So, pancha prana, so 15. And then if you take 4 of antakarana, then 19 or 17. Sukha dukkhadi bhoga sadhanam. That's a definition of sukshma sharira. Sadhanam means sadhyate anena iti sadhanam. Sadhyate, by which you gather, you gain something, is called sadhana. Subtle body is one by which you gather something, really. Organs of action are such by which you express yourself out. Like I am speaking. This is organ of action, right? Organ of speech is an organ of action, karmendriya. So by which I express out what is inside, I express out, even for the hand, with the hand also. So organs of action are one by which what is inside I express out. Sense organs are one by which world enters into you. You gather information, etc. So anyway, and then pancha prana, etc. also are there, physiological functions. And basically subtle body, as I told you, is present in all the 3 states. If subtle body leaves the physical body, then the physical body is declared dead. Why it is called subtle body? Because it is not available. Simple definition. People think too much about sukshma. But a simple thing is, it is sukshma because it is not available for physical perception, even by doctors. Doctors also have to infer the presence of subtle body. Yeah, that's how they open the eyes and check. Then they vein, etc., prana, etc., is there or not. So nobody can see subtle body. You can infer, definitely. If physical body is alive, well, subtle body is there. In all the 3 states, in Jagrat Avastha, all the components of subtle body are functioning. Organs of action, functioning. Sense organs, functioning. Mind, functioning. Pranas, definitely functioning. Circulation, everything is going on. In a dream state, part of the subtle body goes to the rest. Only mind and pranas are functioning. That's how physiological activity is going on. And in the deep sleep state, even mind resolves. Only prana is functioning. That's how he has eaten a lot at 10 o'clock and gone to sleep. And he got a good sleep. When he gets up, he wants to break the fast. Right? He wants to break the fast. Hey, you have not done anything, you just slept. That shows during night, this digestion, etc., circulation, everything was going on. Prana was there. And that's good. That's how he is alive. Once prana leaves, becomes dead body. Dead body does not require breakfast. He doesn't have a requirement of breakfast. So long as subtle body is there, totally functioning, partially functioning, the physical body is alive. And the function of the subtle body and the gross body are mutually dependent. if gross body ruptures more than a certain point, more than a certain percentage, subtle body says Tata. If this anatomy, one kidney at least, right? And 30% of the heart, and like certain vital organs are there, they are also, if they are not fully functioning, still person, you see the alive person. So on the part of a gross body, it is required to function to a certain degree in order to keep subtle body functional. More than a certain point, suppose the gross body doesn't function, subtle body leaves, which is called death. This is enough regarding subtle body. Okay. Now any question of yesterday? Yesterday questions first. Let us take those questions.
Just raise your hand if you have
raise
questions.
your hand.
Hari Om Swamiji. So, I think it was this morning you said for meditation, you observe the physical body, how to relax. And then you also said...
watch your mind.
Watch your mind. So,
Yeah.
how do I watch my mind? I don't know where it is.
No, watch your mind
What
is
does
you are
that mean?
conscious of your mind. And that is true. What is going on in your mind, you are conscious of. That's it. What is going on in your mind, you are conscious of. So when you become conscious of your mind, mind stops thinking. I said let it be so. But in general, you are conscious of your mind. That is how you say my mind is disturbed at this moment. If you say my mind is disturbed, my mind is agitated, I am angry, I am this, etc., etc., or even I have lost certain memory, I know this much, more than that I have forgotten, all you are talking about your mind. So definitely you are conscious of your mind. But in a meditation, when you try to become conscious of your mind, mind generally stops thinking. Then I said, let it be so. But as such, mind is not, it's not like that the way I am conscious of this. It's not so. We are constantly, by the way, we are constantly conscious of our mind. Being the witness, consciousness, I don't want to say about anything because then says Swamiji, don't bring that topic. But I am a witness consciousness, basically, who is conscious of witness of our own mind. That's how everyone is able to talk about their mind. Everyone is able to talk, right? His or her mind, not there. Everyone is able to talk. So, don't, in a meditation, suppose if I say you watch your mind, well, you may feel that mind is moving here and there. But if you constantly remain conscious of your mind during meditation, mind will not function. I mean, it will stop thinking. And therefore you feel like, then what kind of mind it is? I am not able to see anything, etc. But that's not the case. In general, we are conscious of our mind, basically. So that's what it means. I am a conscious being who is conscious of mind, conscious of senses, conscious of breathing, and conscious of the world, of course. And that is that for that purpose only I said, ultimately.
So Swamiji, in other words, can we be aware of the mind? Be aware of the mind?
Yeah, but that's what her problem, as she said, that doubt is very true. As you become aware or conscious of your mind, mind doesn't move much. It remains with you as though it stops thinking. Then you feel, Swami says, watch your mind, but I don't see mind is doing anything. That's how I said, it may stop thinking, let it be so. I said like that also, perhaps. So, but in general, you are aware of your mind. That's for sure. You are aware of mind. In which situation, how my mind will react or act, etc., you are quite aware of.
But I think I have a suspicion that if I watch my mind, it will just go on its own, thinking about all the...
No, it won't. It won't. It won't. That's what I said. As you become conscious of your mind, mind cannot move too much. When you are not conscious of your mind, then mind goes everywhere. Right? Mind goes everywhere. Only we realize that mind has moved too much or thought too much when we get certain emotional disturbance. Anyway, so the thing is basically, see, there are two types of thinking. One is a voluntary thinking, and second is a involuntary. Like breathing, also two types: voluntary, involuntary. Right now, I'm talking to you. You are not conscious, deliberate about your breathing, but it is going on, right? How can you say, Swamiji, it is going on? You are alive, so that is enough. So point is, involuntary breathing is going on. I'm not deliberate, conscious of. And sometimes voluntary breathing also, conscious breathing, that's we call pranayama, where we consciously breathe in, and then, Rechak, Kumbhak and Purak, everything we do. 1:4:2, right? That's a ratio generally people do. So you consciously breathe. Or sometime even if you are not conscious, involuntarily goes on. Same way, thinking also of two types: voluntary, involuntary. Voluntary means you are conscious of, you deliberately think about certain subject matter, right? So there you are conscious of. And so you particularly, basically invite a certain type of thinking in order to understand the subject matter. That's a deliberate, voluntary thinking. But when it is over, still mind goes all over. Involuntary thinking. An issue here is a voluntary thinking versus involuntary thinking. If you have a voluntary thinking, deliberate thinking, you have won half the game. That's how our shamaha, etc., resolution of mind is this. Maximum involuntary thinking should be converted to voluntary thinking, deliberate thinking. That's called resolution of mind. Then, why it is called resolution then? Because emotional disturbances will be less. Involuntary thinking invariably ends into emotional disturbances. That's how yesterday I said, in sadness there is a thinking. In anger there is a thinking. In jealousy there is a thinking. Right? In a pride, etc., there is a thinking. This is this involuntary thinking. I'm not conscious of. Just mechanically mind moves from one channel to other channel, keeps moving and moving. It generally ends into some emotional disturbance. Therefore, shamaha means this involuntary thinking is converted to voluntary thinking. It's by process. That is called shamaha.
Hari Om Swamiji.
Yes.
After death, we leave this body and take another body.
Correct.
Okay. Is it Atma that takes the another body? If so, does it carry our karma of this birth to the next birth?
Yes. Yeah. Atma basically we call Jiva. Jiva Atma. Which is nothing but this subtle body. Subtle body leaves from this physical body, goes to the next physical body, enters into the next physical body, which we call as a birth. So Jiva leaves this body, enters into the next body. Question only is, subtle body, Swamiji lives, subtle body is made up of subtle elements, right? Not grossified elements, basic elements, 5 elements. So that is all inert. And you say subtle body is Jiva. So Jiva is conscious. Jiva Atma you say. So Jiva is a conscious. So basically the subtle body is already conscious. Subtle body is all the time conscious. There was not a time when subtle body was not conscious. Subtle body is all the time pervaded by all-pervading consciousness. And therefore subtle body, basically in that the Atma consciousness manifests. So subtle body is all the time conscious. So conscious subtle body leaves, right? this gross body. Therefore, gross body becomes inert. Once the conscious subtle body, I told you also, subtle body is a link between Atma and gross body. So Atma lends consciousness to the subtle body becomes conscious, and that subtle body pervades this gross body, right? And makes subtle body conscious, sensient. So when subtle body leaves, basically this gross body becomes inert, dead. So this Jivatma alone leaves this body, and definitely Jivatma means Ahankara. So he is a Karta, Bhokta, etc. So he has a Sanchita Karma, etc. From the Sanchita Karma, a lot in terms of a Prarabdha comes out. And accordingly, he will get a gross body, and then he enters into that and experiences throughout the life Sukha, Dukkha, etc. also. So that is a Jivatma is this, leaves this body and enters into that. But it is this Jiva is none other than this conscious, subtle body. That conscious, subtle body enters into the gross body, which is inert, but he enters and makes it alive. Leaves that, goes to the further. Then that gross body becomes inert, dead. Yes.
I mean, it's not any profound question. So, before I came here, I had only heard about Atma and what you term as gross body. What is the need to introduce? I understand what you're talking about, the subtle body, but what is the need to introduce that? Why can't I still think subtle body as Atma and go along? What is the need for me to understand the concept of subtle body?
Yeah, subtle body is inert.
What I'm saying is, why can't I just say subtle body is the same thing as Atma?
Why should we say that?
I mean, that's what I'm asking.
That's what I'm saying you. Subtle body is made up of, just think, subtle body is made up of elements. Is made up of elements. They are inert. Atma is consciousness. Then subtle body has become conscious, we have to say, right? A inert thing appears as a conscious thing, then there must be something else which has lended consciousness to that. That's what it is. So Shastra says subtle body is made up of elements, 5 elements. No element is conscious. That we know. Akasha is not a conscious entity, or a air, or a water, earth, fire. They are inert. Conscious entity is one who is conscious of itself and conscious of surrounding. We don't find any element who is conscious of themselves and conscious of the surrounding. So subtle body, which is made up of these basic elements which are inert, that subtle body is inert. If it is inert, then it becomes conscious on behalf of something. Right? So it must have borrowed consciousness from something. That is Atma. Simple. So Shastra says Atma is consciousness, which lends consciousness to the subtle body, which further lends consciousness to the gross body. It's a model. That's okay. I mean, you may agree, you may not, don't worry about it. But I'm just trying to explain you, this is the thing.
Swamiji Pranam, I have 2 questions I sent by internet to you.
Can you please explain more about total knowledge, which you mentioned today's class? How can I use that knowledge to help the person? See, the total knowledge means it is, I was talking about the Ishvara. Ishvara is the one who is omniscient, we say, total knowledge, who has a total knowledge, means free from ignorance. That's it. One who is free from ignorance. Only that way we can understand. What is total knowledge is beyond our comprehension, in fact, because we are small knowledge. So we don't know what is total knowledge. But yet, we can understand this much, that my knowledge is all the time fraught with the ignorance. I know. Any subject matter, if you ask a question, I may answer 3 questions, 4 questions, 10 questions, 20 questions. Then I will have to say, what? I don't know. Right? So, my knowledge about anything is all the time fraught with ignorance. So I say I am a small knowledge. Ishvara's total knowledge means what? He doesn't have ignorance. He doesn't have this, I don't know, that kind of a thing. That way we can define total knowledge. There is no other definition which is in our comprehension, which is not possible. Question number 2. Once meditators start observing breath, then start visualize complete body from head to toe. Is that possible? Can we visualize circulation of blood veins which circulate from head to toe and vice versa? I don't think it is required. Basically, we are conscious of our breath, we are conscious of our body, and that too, this to be conscious of the body, etc., visualizing the body and further from the head to toe, etc., is in order to objectify it, to look upon the entire body as an object. So, and that is required in as much as we have a certain complaints about our body also, in terms of height, or even color, or a weight also. Nowadays people complain about weight also. And from their head it doesn't go, right? That somebody has put on a weight, then they remain all the time will remain in their head. But anyway, regarding color, regarding health also, we complain. Or if we don't complain outside, but we remain dissatisfied with our own health and color and gender and weight and height and gender also. Sometimes women say, why Bhagavan gave me this birth? I would have, taken birth as a man. See how they are enjoying and all that. My point is, so regarding body also, we are not accepting our body as it is. We have complaints. So, in a process to be objective, we have to take the body also into account in our meditation on meditator, and that we have to take into account. So, this is how my body is in terms of height, weight, gender, etc. We have to say. Before that, you have to visualize body. When you visualize your body, definitely height, weight, everything, the whole thing will come into your mind, color, etc., everything. And so when you visualize in one sweep of vision, as a breathing statue kind of a thing, and then say this, like visualizing father, you say, this is how my father is. Same way, this is how my body is. I grant freedom for what it is. It doesn't mean I should not work for its health, proper health, etc. But I acknowledge that this is how my body is in terms of health. So I don't approve its health. Suppose it's a bad health, let it be so. No, I'm not saying that. But so all the way, it is so essential to be a objective person in order to arrive at this basic person, meditator, etc. That is very essential.
Swamiji, I think you mentioned that when you do meditate, you have to control your mind. That's why you start from your mind, bring it to your eyes, bring it to toe, and go down.
Control mind, I have not said.
Something like that.
No. I said you visualize a body from head to toes. I just said that much. I did not say control your mind.
Okay.
No. Any question? Yes.
2 more, Swamiji.
Hari Om Swamiji.
Yes.
I have a question about ego. Can you explain what the source is and how do you control it, or if you should control it?
So ego here, in Vedanta, ego is that ahankara which I mentioned. That's called ego. The sense of individuality. I am just consciousness. But in spite of that, I have a sense of individuality, that I'm a limited conscious being, right? Even though I am all-pervading consciousness, Swamiji taught you, but still, we have that I'm a limited conscious being. So there is a sense of individuality, sense of limitation. That is called ego. And that arises, that's actually a function of the mind. In the mind, various thoughts arises. That is what the mind is. In that, one type of thought is this aham vritti, I thought. And that I thought, we call it as ahankara. And what is the function of that I thought? It claims everything. So, it arises in the mind. Then it claims the mind. I as a mind. Then it is connected to the senses. So the I sense goes into the senses, organs of action. And the whole subtle body will be I. Then subtle body pervades the gross body. So the I sense pervades the gross body. Further, beyond gross body, subtle body cannot pervade. And therefore I sense also does not pervade. Could you follow? So I sense is there in this gross body and the subtle body. That is we call as a ego. Then other than that, the ego which is in terms of pride, etc. Well, that is a different thing. But ego, what we use here, it is a technical word in a Vedanta, and that is, we use it for this ahankara, which is a function of the mind. This has nothing to do with Atma, basically. In presence of Atma alone, mind functions, but this is a function of mind. Yes. Yes.
How does it carry the karma?
It doesn't carry karma. This ahankara carries karma. Karma is carried by who is basically a karta or bhokta. Atma is not a karta or bhokta. It has nothing to do with the karma also. It's asanga. That is the jiva. That subtle body, conscious subtle body, which is nothing but a karta bhokta. Once the prarabdha is over, so whatever the karmas he has done from the Sanchita Valley lot, again will be, in terms of a prarabdha, gives a gross body. And then he enters into that gross body. Gross body becomes alive, there is a life, and he experiences pleasure and pain.
So,
It's 8:15.
thank you, Swamiji. So, a question about siddhi. There are certain practitioners that do deep meditation. They gain certain siddhi. Do we have a view on that from our school perspective?
Actually, we accept such things. We accept, but it has nothing to do with what we call moksha. Because any siddhi is pertaining to the anatma, to the ahankara. Any siddhi. Atma has nothing to do with any siddhi. Right? Even we call spiritual success, this kind of a spiritual success. Well, it has nothing to do with Atma. Here it's an issue of ignorance, self-ignorance. And one has to solve that issue by gaining knowledge. Because you are already free. You are already free. But you carry that, a notion in your mind that I'm bound, I'm jiva, I'm this, I'm that, and suffer. And so, this is the issue. Self-ignorance and born of that self-notion, several notions regarding the self. Well, so all these things will go away by knowledge. So self-knowledge is the solution. If moksha is something which is some kind of a siddhi, then we will have to look into that. Whether this siddhi is called moksha or that siddhi is called moksha. But if you are already siddha, I am already a siddha, in that case, I should know that I am siddha. And therefore, all these things we don't deny. But they have no role to play to gain moksha. Moksha is in terms of knowledge, nothing else. Just knowing is becoming free. 10th man becomes free right? Just becomes free from the sorrow, crying, everything, just by knowing that I am 10th. That's it. It's 8:15 already. Huh?
All right.
They can ask me tomorrow after the...
Oh, okay.
Because they told me the children are already... I'm not avoiding questions. Whoever has questions, tomorrow after lunch, we will sit in the lobby and solve it, because they need at least 1 hour. That's what they told me. So they wanted to start by 8 o'clock. But anyway, it's okay. Om Purnamadav Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti 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 Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Harihi Om.
Namaste. My Sashtanga pranams to Pujya Swamiji. My pranams to Swami Advayananda. My pranams to Swami Muktatmananda. My namaskara to all the parents and the guests and the teachers of the program, children program. Sadashiva Samarambam Shankaracharya Madhyamam Asmadacharya Paryantam Vande Guru Paramparam Vakratunda Mahagaya Surya Koti Samaprabha Nirvignam Kuru Me Deva Sarvakaryeshu Sarvada. On behalf of the Arshavidya Peetham, we welcome you for this cultural evening or the presentation program learning. And we have taken the topic as the gratitude. In Sanskritam, it is called as Kritagnyata. In English, we can translate it as thank you. It's a Thanksgiving Day, and so we thought we'll do on this basis of gratitude on our level. We start the program with the invocation dance by our seniors, teens. They all will welcome you.
Tatakujam, tatakujam, takujam, tatakujam, tatakujam, takujeku tanaku kenaku tatajam tadingina da, takadajam tadingina tadingina da, ratajam tadingina 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 da.
Thank you, children, for that. Next, we move on with the junior chanting. Children, please be on the stage. Wait. The theme being the gratitude, these children are going to present the gratitude to their mother. We have got 22 mothers. One is Saraswati and Lakshmi. All knowledge is Saraswati and all wealth is Lakshmi. So we are going to thank our mother through chanting Saraswati and Lakshmi. 1, 2, 3. Saraswati
Namastubhyam Varade Kamarupini Vidyarambham Karishyami Siddhis Bhavatu Me Sada Ya Kundendu Tusharahara Dhavala Ya Shubhravastranvita Ya Veena Varadanda Manditakara या श्वेतपद्मासना या ब्रह्माच्युतशङ्करप्रभृतिविरदैवै सदा वन्दिता पूजिता सा मां पातु सरस्वती भगवती निःशेषजाड्यापः
नमस्ते या देवी
सर्वभूतेषु बुद्धिरूपेण संस्थिता नमस्तस्यै 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 नमो नमः या देवी सर्वभूतेषु मातृरूपेण संस्थिता नमस्तस्यै 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 नमो नमः.
Do namaskara to the audience. Thank you. That's a good one. Okay. Swamiji, within 1.5 days, they have learned this much from the age 5 to 9. Our effort was less, but their enthusiasm was more. So that's the success. Their enthusiasm was more. Very good children, very participative, very cooperative. We did not have anything in the classroom. We all enjoyed the class. Thank you. Parents, you have groomed them very nicely. Congratulations to you all.
Now the juniors will be presenting the 7 types of Kritagnya. Before presenting with the placard, I'll try to give you a small introduction about this Kritagnya. Kritagnya, the Sanskrit word for gratitude, is made up of 2 words. One is Krita, meaning cultivated, and Jna, which is the state of consciousness. Kritagnya is about cultivating awareness of consciousness so we can fully present to enjoy the gift for which we are grateful. Once you understand the feeling of gratitude and allow it to sink deeply within you, you will start feeling grateful for everything. And the more grateful you are, the less complaining and grumbling. Once complaining disappears, misery disappears. It exists with complaints. It is hooked with the complaints and with the complaining mind. Misery is impossible with gratefulness. So that is one of the most important secrets to learn. Now we present before you the first gratitude, Namaste. Gratitude flows in allowing relationship and it expands that relationship. What unites us is more important and more real than what divides us. Namaste Sharade Devi Kashmira Puravashini Tvamaham Prarthaye Nityam Vidyadhanam Cha Dehimi. The next gratitude is Karunoham. When I have no judgment, I see everyone with kindness. I choose compassion over judgment, and by doing this, I become a conduit for peace, understanding, and happiness. I don't condemn, I do love. Adveshta sarva bhutanam maitra karuna cha nirmamo nirahankaraha samadukka sukhakshami. The next one is pranidhana. Ishvara's grace dissolves the resistance and obstacles in my life. Tapaswadhyaya Ishvara Pranidhanani Kriya Yogi. Surrendering or offering all activities to Ishvara. The next one is Samprati. By being grateful now, I feel truly alive in the present moment. Anyaha Samprati Vidyante Vartamana Shariraktaha Pare Brahma Purushasya Vidate Brahmanaha Pade. The next element is Dhanyoham. Dhanyoham, Dhanyoham. Hopama Bhavin Loke. Dhanyoham, Dhanyoham. Dhanyo Dhanyaha. Punah Punar Dhanyaha. I find grace by looking for the blessings in my life. I am grateful to all the blessings. The next one is Kritagnya. My true self is always grateful. I am connected with everything else in the universe. Gratitude is the light that guides me to that place where meaning, truth, and love exist. The last one is Anandoham. True happiness comes from knowing that you are not different from the total. So this is the 7 elements we wanted to represent through gratitude. We took all this for gratitude. Thank you, children.
We're going to present a dance about what nature teaches. 1. Learn to smile by seeing the flowers. 2. Learn to speak softly like the hummingbees. 3. Learn from the sun to take the responsibility of waking up and waking others. 4. Learn to move upward like the smoke. 5. Learn from wind to be soft with everybody. 6. Learn to bend like the trees and be humble and obedient to others. 6. Learn from a Hindi to be equal to all. 7. Learn from fall, the season, to be courageous even in hard times. 8. Learn from the cock to sing the praise of Ishvara. 9. Learn to be patriotic like the fish.
तुम हंसना सीखो भंवरों से तुम गाना फूलों से तुम हंसना सीखो भंवरों से तुम गाना फूलों से तुम हंसना सीखो भंवरों से तुम गाना सूरज की किरणों से सीखो जगना और जगाना
What did they do?
Namaste. I think some technical problem, please bear with us. This is a Hindi poem, and by the flower we learn to smile, and with the bee we like to say softly to speak. And the sun says that you wake up and you make others to wake up. The next one is the smoke, where we have to go higher and higher in your life. The wind says that from the wind we learn that we have to be equal to all. And from the tree we understand to be obedient to elders and others. And from the mehendi that we put on our hand, we learn that we give equal color to all. And from the fall, we learn that the perseverance and the patience. And from the cock, we learn to make people to awake to call Ishvara. And the fish is the last one. It indicates the patriotic. The Kavi feels like that. Once the fish is out of the water, it gives its life, like very patriotic to the water. So that's why the Kavi thinks in that way. And that's the presentation we are doing it here. Some technical thing. The children will do very nicely. Please bear with that. Please bear with that delay, please. Children, you can just go inside the stage. Please, on the stage. We'll call you later. Okay, let the technical lag can be corrected. Again, you'll do from the beginning, okay? Now I request the seniors to come on to the stage for the chanting. We won't leave, we'll put the program. Be seated.
We're sitting.
Now juniors are going to present on Pratasmaranam Shivashostram. Ready? 1, 2, 3, start.
प्रातस्मरामि भवभीतिहरं सुरेशं गङ्गाधरवृषभवाहनमम्बिकेशं खट्वागशूलवरदाभयहस्तमीशं संसाररोगहरमौषधमद्वितीयम् प्रातर्नमामि गिरिशगिरिजार्धदेहं सर्गस्थिप्रलयकारणमादिदेवं विश्वेश्वरं विजितविश्वमनोभिरामं संसाररोगहरमौषधमद्वितीयम् प्रातर्स्वामि शिवमेकानन्तमाद्यं वेदान्तवेद्यमनघं पुरुषं महान्तं नमादिभेदरहितं सद्भावशून्यं संसाररोगहरमौषधमद्वितीयम् संसाररोगहरमौषधमद्वितीयम्.
Thank you, children. There will be a small bhajan on Subramanya. We remembered after seeing Advayananda in Anekati, he started with this bhajan. So we thought we'll do that on the stage. Ready? 1, 2, 3.
Subramanyam Subramanyam Shanmukanata Subramanyam 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 Shanmukanata Subramanyam Shiva 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 Subramanyam Hara 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 Subramanyam Shiva 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 Subramanyam Hara 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 Subramanyam Shiva Shiva Hara Hara Subramanyam Hara Hara Shiva Shiva Subramanyam Shiva Shiva Hara Hara Subramanyam Hara Hara Shiva Shiva Subramanyam Shiva Sharavana Bhava Subramanyam Guru Sharavana Bhava Subramanyam Shiva Sharavana Bhava Subramanyam Guru Sharavana Bhava Subramanyam Shiva Shiva Hara Hara Subramanyam Hara Hara Shiva Shiva Subramanyam Shiva Shiva Hara Hara Subramanyam Hara Hara Shiva Shiva Subramanyam 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 Shanmukanata Subramanyam 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 Shanmukanata Subramanyam Shiva 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 Subramanyam Hara 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 Subramanyam Shiva 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 Subramanyam Hara 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 Subramanyam Shiva Sharavana Bhava Subramanyam Hara Hara Shiva Shiva Subramanyam Shiva Shiva Hara Hara Subramanyam Hara Hara Shiva Shiva Subramanyam Shiva Sharavana Bhava Subramanyam Guru Sharavana Bhava Subramanyam Shiva Sharavana Bhava Subramanyam Guru Sharavana Bhava Subramanyam Shiva Shiva Hara Hara Subramanyam Hara Hara Shiva Shiva Subramanyam Shiva Shiva Hara Hara Subramanyam Hara Hara Shiva Shiva Subramanyam 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 Shanmukanata Subramanyam 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 Shanmukanata Subramanyam.
Thank you, children. The song is rectified. Now we'll go with that song for the juniors.
What's there?
Traffic light. I don't know. It's a traffic
It's a,
light. Yeah, I know.
wait, that's actually a traffic light.
It is.
Oh, what's Jarvis?
फूलों से तुम हंसना सीखो भंवरों से तुम गाना वंदे रे फूलों से तुम हंस
It's okay.
No, it's okay, ma. It's gonna get him. That's it. Oh no. No. No, no, we will do it. We'll change it. Pranav, I want the seniors to be ready. Seniors be ready. Sorry for the interruption. Wait for the surprise. It's Puji Swamiji's. We don't know what will be the next. We plan a lot, but it always goes on different level. So this is the prasada buddhi. More than you expected, less than you expected, opposite of your expected. I think still we'll recover with it. And now we'll start with the senior play, Kritagnyata. There can be no other person to express our Kritagnyata than our Totakacharya of the Adi Shankara. So we are trying to put a small play on how the Totakacharya, named as Giri, how he was loyal to his Guru and how the intelligence was bestowed on him through intelligent transference. That's the thing for the Kritagnyata Totakacharya story. Let us sit back and see how the children are performing. Thank you.
The Shankara Vijayam states that when Adi Shankara was at Sringeri, he met a boy named Giri. Adi Shankara accepted the boy as his disciple. Giri was a hard-working and loyal disciple of his guru, Adi Shankara, though he did not appear bright as the other disciples. One day, Giri was busy washing his guru's clothes when Adi Shankara sat down to begin a lesson on Advaita Vedanta. He did not start the lesson, saying he was waiting for Giri to come back from his chores and singing lessons. At this, Padmapada pointed to a wall and said that it would be the same if Adi Shankara taught to this dumb object as he taught to Giri. Now, Adi Shankara wanted to reward Giri for his loyalty and devotion. Thus, he mentally granted Giri the complete knowledge of the Sastras. The enlightened Giri composed on the spot the Totashtakam, the Sanskrit poem in the Totaka meter, in praise of Guru Adi Shankara. Thus, the humble disciple Giri became known as Totakacharya.
Padmapada, may I interrupt your thought?
Since you have already interrupted me, ask.
May I come closer?
Yes.
May I sit down?
Yes.
You won't be irritated. You won't get irritated if I ask you something, right?
I'm finished irritating with you, so ask.
Atato Brahma Jignasya. What does that mean?
Gurudev explained its meaning 2 days ago.
Yes, he did, but I didn't understand.
So I am the alternate left?
Padmapada, dear brother, please understand. Look, I cannot ask Sureshwaracharya or Hasta Malaka, the holder of the Brahman in his palms. So the only option is you.
Let me finish writing a few lines and then I will call you.
But brother, you keep writing the same book over and over again. Could you please explain to me and then continue writing?
Giri, nobody writes the same book over and over again. What I am writing is the explanation for Gurudev Brahma Sutra commentary.
Giri, let Padmapada write. Whatever you want to ask me.
I don't know what will happen now. Gurudev is calling.
You have to lie down, no?
Yeah.
Okay, now do we have to sleep?
Okay, lay down. Lay down.
Okay, now we have to.
Guru Brahma, Guru Vishnu, Guru Devo Maheshwaraha, Guru Sakshat Param Brahma, Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Padmapada, wake up. Guru might be awake.
Did you forget your clothes?
No, I forgot.
Giri was way behind Sureshwaracharya, Hastamalika, and Padmapada. He was enthusiastic in serving his guru throughout the day, and he always looked for opportunities to serve his guru.
This is done, right?
Yeah, should I? Run and come. You have to run.
Giri, I am free now. You can ask me.
But now I am not free. I have to go serve the Guru food.
Hold on.
Did you eat?
No, Gurudev, I was waiting for you.
I have told you earlier to wait for me for your meals.
I'm sorry, Gurudev. I will obey your order from tomorrow.
That's what you told me yesterday.
Yes, pardon me, Gurudev. I cannot eat before you eat.
I will not remain with you forever. What will you do then?
Yes, Gurudev, you will always remain with me. Oh, yeah, yes. Shankaracharya. Hastamalaka, what is your story? How did you become Gurudev's disciple?
When Adi Shankara was at Kollur, he got invitations from many brahmanas. In the village lived a brahmana, Prabhakara, who was noted for his learning. He had a son who, though looking quite handsome, was rather an idiot. He spent a lot of his time sitting around doing nothing rather than studying the Vedas even after his Upanayanam. Prabhakara approached the Acharya with a load of fruit and asked him to help his son. He and his son prostrated before Acharya. Then Adi Shankara addressed the young boy and asked him who he was. The boy replied in 12 verses, giving the gist of the Advaita philosophy. Thus, Adi Shankara was immensely impressed with him and immediately accepted him as a student. The child's name was Hasta Amalaka, one with the Amalaka fruit in his hand. Since the knowledge of the self was natural to him like an Amalaka fruit in one's hand, Adi Shankara took the boy into his party and started towards his next destination.
What about the verses? You have
No, that I'm not playing because the computer is making problem.
Right. Okay. Yes, Acharya.
Giri.
Yes, Acharya.
What are you doing?
I had gone to ask Hastamalaka whether...
To ask him what?
To ask him whether he held truth in his palms just like the Amalaka fruit. And then why he is attending Gurudev's classes.
What did he say?
He didn't reply, but I thought you would know the answer.
Why do you bother him? Leave him alone. He attends Gurudev classes because Gurudev classes evaluated his experiences.
But tell me, Acharya, is there any possibility for me?
With Guru's grace, anything is possible. Giri, how many times have I told you not to massage my legs?
Sorry, Gurudev. It feels like my hands are running on an empty paper. Please do not deprive me of this pleasure at least.
Okay, now you can go to bed.
Classroom scene, you read that. Classroom scene. Don't want that in between. Am I going? Classroom scene. Go that side. You have to go that side. Classroom scene. Take this to the center. From that side. You'll be waiting there at corner. Shankaracharya to sit.
Yeah, he's gone somewhere.
Our Shankaracharya, please come here.
We're not doing that.
Yeah, we're doing this now.
Go.
Giri is not to be seen.
He is down by the river.
Then we shall wait.
Why do we have to wait for him? There's no point in teaching him. He is like a wall. He doesn't have any sense. He is no better than these walls.
Padmapada, we shall wait.
In the riverside, Giri washes his clothes, thinking to himself, how will I be able to continue the tradition of my Guru's knowledge? How will I be able to repay my debt to my Guru? Gurudev, please grant me intelligence.
Giri, take this knowledge.
Vidhita kila shastra dudha jalade mahitopanishad katithartha nidhe hridaye kalaye vimalam charanam bhava shankara deshikame sharanam bhava shankara deshikame sharanam.
With the blessing of his Guru, Giri composed 8 verses instantly in a difficult meter Totaka. Distressed with Padmapada's words, Guru showered his knowledge on Giri. Guru not only blesses the learned, but also who serves him with a pure heart. From then on, he was known as Totakacharya.
Thank you. Wait. I hope that was an interesting play. I want to introduce the artist, okay? The Adi Shankara was played by Ishan Besa. The Padmapada by Adit. Sureshwaracharya by Mukund. Our young, quiet boy, Hastamalaka, is by Rishabh. And the final, the Totakacharya, is by Vedanta Sundaresh. The narrators were Anushri and Pranav. Can I have them on the stage? Pranav. Within 1.5 days, they have memorized their thing, the actual scene sequence they have remembered, and they perform it nicely. Is it not? Children, please do namaskara to the audience. And, thank you. They have made a different approach. They have made a different approach to present the program of the children, the young little tots, because we didn't want to disappoint them. So we are going to try with the phone. Let us see how it works. Play to Radh Dakshinamurti.
हंसना सीखो भंवरों से तुम गाना बंदे रे फूलों से तुम हंसना सीखो भंवरों से तुम गाना फूलों से तुम हंसना सीखो भंवरों से तुम गाना सूरज की किरणों से सीखो जगना और जगाना से तुम सारे सीखो ऊंची मंजिल पाना सीखो ऊंची मंजिल पाना सीखो ऊंची मंजिल पाना धुएं से तुम सारे सीखो की डाली से सीखो फल पाकर झुक जाना सीखो फल पाकर झुक जाना सीखो फल पाकर झुक जाना वृक्षों की डाली से सीखो फल पाकर झुक जाना मेहंदी के पत्तों से सीखो पिस पिस रंग चढ़ाना पतझड़ में पेड़ों से सीखो दुख में धीर बंधाना सीखो दुख में धीर बंधाना सीखो दुख में धीर बंधाना पतझड़ में पेड़ों से सीखो दुख में धीर बंधाना मुर्गे की बोली से सीखो प्रात प्रभु गुण गाना सीखो प्रात प्रभु गुण गाना सीखो प्रात प्रभु गुण गाना मुर्गे की बोली से सीखो प्रात प्रभु गुण गाना पानी की मछली से सीखो धर्म के हित मर जाना
Thanks a lot. The children did a wonderful job, right? And we had good sharing from the blessings from Dakshinamurti. And now we move on to the teens program.
Yeah, please come up. Jairam, the mic stand வைக்க முடியுமா அவளுக்கு? Just can you put the mic stand, Suresh? The mic stand's on the corner. If you can put in the front. One of you can come up here. Hari Om. The teens are here. I don't know. You come up here. All the teens, you can stand in one line here. Okay, teens can come up. Yeah, thank you. Hey, you all did very good. Time for teens now. Okay, not well, later. Okay. Okay, teens can come up. We are taking Swamiji's time. I want you all to come up and stand here, teens. Come quickly. Please come. Yeah. So.
Must be backstage.
So you can stand one line there, but it's mic second. Yeah, come closer to the mics. Don't be afraid of the mics. They won't do anything to you. If you're that far, the mics won't pick up, so you have to come even much, much, much closer. Yeah. Don't be afraid of the mics. Yeah. Okay. So I taught them chanting of one stotra, and anyone wants to introduce that? Maybe Sevita, you want to introduce that stotra? You're there? Sevita here? Okay.
This slokam is about Rama, and it goes through all the vibhaktis of Rama from the Shabdam.
Thank you. What are vibhaktis?
Vibhaktis are the different prepositions of Rama. So it goes through each and every one of them in each of the verses.
Thank you. All right, great. So I'll also join you in singing this song. Shall we start? Sri Rama
Sharanam samasta jagatam Rama vina kagatihi Ramena pratihanyate kalimalam Ramaya karyam namaha Ramatrasyati kala bhima bhujago Ramasya sarvam vashe Rame bhaktirakhandita bhavatu me
Ramattvamevashrayah. Let's do it one more time, nicely, a little loudly. I think if you walk a little closer to the mic, it'll sound much better. Pranav, you can go to close to this mic. Yes, I want to hear Pranav's voice and many of the others who have been practicing along with us so well. Shall we do one more time, nice and loud? 1, 2, 3, start. Shri
Rama Sharanam samasta jagatam Ramam vinakagatihi Ramena pratihanyate kalimalam Ramaya karyam namaha Ramatrasyati kala bhima bhujago
Ramasya sarvam vashe Rame
bhaktirakhandita bhavatu me
Ramattvamevashrayah. Good. Let's hear the meaning from all of you, one after the other with the lines. So I will be helping you with the lines. First line is Shri. Everyone together. Sharanam
samasta jagatam.
This means Ram is all's refuge.
Great. Next line is Ramam vinakagatihi. Who's doing that line?
This line means that without Rama, there's no path forward.
Ramena pratihanyate kalimalam. Who's going to do that line?
This means that with Rama, all obstacles can be overcome.
Good. Next line. Ramaya karyam
namaha.
This line means, for Rama we offer our actions.
Ramatrasyati kala bhima bhujago.
This line means with Rama we can overcome all obstacles because of Rama.
Because of Rama, right? Good. Next one. Ramasya sarvam
vashe.
This means everything belongs to Rama.
Good. Then the seventh line. Rame bhaktirakhandita bhavatu me. Then, who's doing the meaning for this line?
This line means, may I have full devotion to Rama.
In Rama, right? The preposition in Rama. Good. Was your mic on? Can you say it one more time? Is it on?
This line means, may I have full devotion in Rama.
Thank you. Final line. Ramattvamevashrayah.
This means, hi Rama, you're our refuge.
Here Rama, you're my refuge. Good. Thank you so much. So that one shloka they prepared for this session. And I also then was giving them the values class. So that will be the next one. So for this, maybe you can pull the mic off of the stand, hold it in your hands, and share the mic when it's your turn. Okay. So yeah.
This one's not working.
Good chance to remove this stand. for this one, they can share the mic.
Who wants this one? Okay.
Sure.
Yes, who is going to start? Yeah.
A value is something that you care about and it affects you in your daily life.
Thank you.
We learned about the value Atma, and this means...
Ahimsa.
Oh wait, shoot. Yeah.
We learned about
We
value.
love value Ahimsa, and this means like not hurting people through words, thoughts, or deeds.
Everyone knows about the golden rule of treating others the way you want to be treated. And since you would obviously not want to be harmed by anyone in any way, you should make sure not to harm others.
Who's going next?
Example for an exception is a surgeon, because they're not hurting, instead they're helping people.
Okay.
This leads us into the topic of vegetarianism. A basic choice that a lot of Hindus and Indians face is whether to eat meat or not. This directly is related to ahimsa versus himsa. So a lot of people would argue that eating meat is wrong because we have the self-awareness to make a different choice, to eat plants that won't die when you pluck their fruit and eat it, rather than animals who are struggling and screaming and squealing to try and get away when you try and eat them. So we can also talk about the ecological and environmental impacts that this might cause. For example, studies show that if you use the same resources, you can get peanut butter sandwiches for a year versus one hamburger for 1 day. So it's clear that an ecological impact is also there with eating meat, not eating meat.
Some may argue that plants don't want to be eaten either, but with plants you can take food from them without actually killing the plant. Let's take an apple tree for an example. You can take the apple and eat the apple for food without actually killing the tree.
In special circumstances, ahimsa can be overridden by other special values. For example, when a soldier is fighting for his country, he's technically he's committing himsa, but he's putting his country and his duty first. In a soldier's life, ahimsa is a common value, but his country and his duty is like a special value. So it's up to us to decide what our special and common values are.
Yeah, so continuing on to the soldier topic, so the action a soldier does when killing or injuring somebody in combat itself is himsa, but the thought and the cause for that action might be to benefit their country or to protect their people. So that is ahimsa. This leads to the discussion that we were having in our class about thoughts versus actions. So we had an example about whether if you have a bad thought, that could potentially lead to a bad action. So for example, if I had a thought about punching somebody, that is a bad thought, that is himsa. But we were talking about how the impact of the action itself, if I actually punched that person, would be more than the thought itself.
Even if we're able to control our thoughts and we don't end up harming the other person, we're still harming ourselves, because if you have a mind full of negativity, you can never be happy. So it is natural to have negative thoughts in your mind, just don't let them control your actions.
Although ahimsa may seem very simple, basic, and straightforward, it's actually a very complicated topic and has many limitations.
We hope you enjoyed and perhaps learned something new in this presentation about how ahimsa about how ahimsa increases our sensitivity and compassion towards others.
We definitely learned a lot, and we hope that you enjoyed this presentation. Thank you.
Thank you. So, really appreciate they did the slokas without the paper, and and they also did the values. Thanks so much. And that concludes my part. And there's one more item remaining. Swaminijis will come for that. Thank you.
Namaste. We are going to present a Samvada with the teens. The topic is, does God exist? So let us see how the discussion goes. They are doing it nicely. Sit back and let us see what they are doing. You can go. Start with the sloka. Sadashiva Samarambam Shankaracharya Madhyamam Asmadacharya Paryantam Vande Guru Paramparam.
Worshipping God is something Hindus are taught to do every day. Even though we might engage in religious practices like puja, we might develop a fundamental doubt, such as, does God even exist? If so, where? Now we will have a samvada on this topic.
Who is God? This has been my doubt also.
I think each one has their own concept of God.
That is true. According to Shastra, we need to define a thing before we try to prove it. Lakshana pramanabhyam vastu siddhi.
What is the definition of God?
According to the Vedas, God is defined as Chaitanya.
What is the English translation of Chaitanya?
We traditionally use the English word consciousness. According to the scriptures, God is equal to the consciousness principle.
What is meant by the word consciousness?
The Kathopanishad states, Yena rupam rasam gandham shabdan sparsham maitunan ete neva vijanati kimatra parisisyate etad vaitat. That self-knowing principle by which one knows all other objects of perception is Chaitanya or consciousness. The objects of perception are color, taste, smell, sounds, and touch. What remains here is conscious principle, which is equal to God.
Well, this definition of God seems reasonable.
Does the defined God exist or not?
Let us rearrange our conversation by asking, does consciousness exist?
Oh, that will be equal to asking whether I exist or not.
Exactly, that is it. The Shastra says it is like asking a question whether I've got a tongue or not. After defining God, it is ridiculous to ask a question whether God exists or not.
We have to define God as Chaitanya or consciousness.
The consciousness of myself is the consciousness of everything. Therefore, every single experience is a proof for the existence of God. The Bhagavad Gita says, Utkramanantam stitam vapi bhunjanam vagunanvitam vimudhananu pashyanti jnana chakshasaha. The English meaning says, this consciousness is endowed with gunas. Those who have the eye of wisdom sees.
Now I have a question. The definition of God as Chaitanya makes sense. What is the nature of consciousness?
That is a good question and an important one. Regarding the nature of consciousness, all the scientists are confused and have not yet understood what the phenomenon of consciousness is.
In fact, nobody wants to discuss this in his or her branch, whether it is electrical phenomenon or cellular or neurological phenomenon. When we understand the nature of consciousness, we will understand God.
According to the scriptures, consciousness is a totally non-material entity. It does not come under the matter or energy principle because energy is a version of matter.
Consciousness is a non-material, non-energy principle which they generally translate as spirit in English. We will use the word Chaitanya. The Bhagavad Gita says, Yasmaksharamati toham aksharadapi chotamaha atoshmi loka vedecha praditav purushottamaha. In the Veda, the Ishvara is renowned as Purushottamaha.
That consciousness ever experienced by us is equal to God.
Yes, the scripture calls it Ananta Chaitanyam, which is in every one of us, that is equal to God. Bhagavad Gita says, Ishvara sarva bhutanam hriddesh arjuna tishtati brahmayan sarva bhutani yantarudani mayaya. Meaning, the Lord remains as the seat of all beings.
If this Ananta Chaitanya is God, what about the different gods we have?
That's a good question. This different God is a temporary presentation for the sake of refining our mind. This is extremely important for the purpose of sadhana. This God can be called Gauna Ishvara.
We cannot have festivals or do pujas without these Gauna Ishvara. Every festival we celebrate is based on one of the Gauna Ishvaras.
I think we can call this as glory of Ishvara.
Yes, you are correct. We don't nor should ask for any purpose or proof of Ishvara. This Ishvara is a personalized version used for sadhana purposes alone.
When we get the fundamental question, does God exist? We will go to Ananta Ishvara. If you probe for personified God, you will face eternal conflict. You do puja to know the real God and be eternally free. This is the Vedic approach for Ishvara.
Thank you for this wonderful explanation. We'll meet again for another discussion.
Thank you. That was a wonderful presentation, isn't it? May I call all the children on the stage? Yeah, no problem. Please.
Hari Oms, Swamiji, Swaminis, and parents. My name is Aoife, and I had the honor and pleasure of teaching yoga to the children's camp, all classes, all ages. And we didn't do a demo this time, but what we focused on this weekend was stretches and asanas for the neck and the shoulders. And just because of lifestyle and phones and iPads and all of it. So I tried to do some asanas that they could do at their desks, you know, in the middle of taking a break, 10 minutes here and there from their books, because I know time is limited. So hopefully you will show your parents also when you get home, and 10 minutes every day. So we want to keep the spines. We're as old or as young as our spinal cord, and we want to keep our spines healthy. So thank you very much, and I wish you a very good night.
I request all the juniors and seniors to come onto the stage for the concluding prayer.
conclude. Children, can we close with the concluding prayer? Sarve bhavantu sukhinah, sarve santu niramayah, sarve bhadrani pashyantu, ma kashchid dukhabhag bhavet, asato ma sadgamaya, tamaso ma jyotirgamaya, mrityo ma amritam gamaya. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Hari Om. Swamiji. Swamiji, before going, just have a few words here about the program and bless the children. Swamiji, please, on to the stage, please.
You can stand now.
Big clump. I've just got the juice. Wait, actually.
It was such a delight to see this wonderful performance at all ages, from those that move the flower around to show the dynamics of the bee and the flower and all that. And I was honored to be called out. Right? Subramanyam, Subramanyam, Shanmukhanatha. Subramanyam was actually the best part of the whole presentation. But the dialogue, the attentiveness is very impressive. Your knowledge, the depth of your knowledge, the Sanskrit, and the effort that you put in. It was very obvious. So thank you all for honoring us with your presentation.
He looks Indian. I don't know. He's like, come closer. Guys,
Swamp. Surya? After.
When he comes down.
Oh, sorry.
Look here, everybody. All of it. Good. So now collect prasad from Swamiji. All of you, Anu, you can start showing everyone how to go this way.
children disperse.
So after this, quickly take the prasad. You're delaying your ice cream part by being so choosy about your prasad. Okay. Now go for the ice cream. It's available in the lobby. Thanks to our Pimplaskars, ice cream is all being served there. Go to the lobby there. And then don't forget, all classes are on tomorrow until lunch. And we'll have a very relaxed session. The presentation is over, so come for all the classes tomorrow, starting with the assembly at 8:30.
शरणं शरणं वागीशा